Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you tonight, Ms. Opal Tameti, who is the Executive Director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Miles, and I am Miss Caribbean United States 2013, and you're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting down here with Ms. Opal Tameti, who's the Executive Director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. A lot of information is going to be given tonight, so we're definitely glad to have her in the hot seat. Ms. Opal, how are you? Welcome to Beyond Focus TV.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to have you because anything that deals with immigration, especially with the premise of our program, we definitely love giving this information to our viewers. So if you all want to take notes, I'm sure Ms. Opal's going to be giving you a ton of information to go home with. So let's first of all take it back a little bit. Let's first of all start by talking about what is the Alliance for Black Immigration?
So the Black Alliance for Just Immigration is the first and only immigrant rights organization dedicated to Black people. And so not only Black immigrants, but also African Americans. We see all of our communities being impacted by immigration policies as well as racial justice policies and economic policies. And so our organization was one of the first and the only one really to be founded that really focuses on the Black immigrants from Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, and really all over the world, right? So we have immigrants from everywhere. And then African Americans, and really saying that actually all of us have a stake in how immigration policy unfolds in our society.
Absolutely.
And so we were founded by two pastors, one from South Africa, and then the other one who was an African American who was really a legend in the civil rights movement. And so with those two being our founders, they were able to set the stage for us to rise up and include more and more Black voices in the debate. So what happened was back in 2006, these two pastors realized that there weren't very many Black people who participating in the rallies in California and beyond. So our organization was founded in Oakland, California back in 2006.
Okay.
And as a result, they wanted to consolidate a core of people. And so they said, you know what we got to do is we have to first educate community members about what's going on. And not only do we need to educate folks, we need to also encourage them to join campaigns, to go to rallies, to participate in the legislative process, to know their rights and all of that. And so that's really the history of our organization. We were founded in Oakland, California. We have an office there still and staff there, but we also have offices in Phoenix, Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia, and here in Brooklyn, New York, and Crown Heights.
Wow, that's actually very amazing that it was founded in Cali and made its way over here. For you personally, how did you fall into immigration? I know you said you actually have some African roots. So you do have a little bit of personal. I mean, I look at it as everybody's an immigrant. Whether you're born here or not, we all got here.
Yeah.
So immigration is always something that should be a little bit dear to you, especially for me. I do have roots in the Caribbean as well. So how did this fall into you?
Well, that's a very important and good question. So my parents are actually from Nigeria. They're Nigerian immigrants who migrated and moved to Phoenix, Arizona. And so this is in my blood as a person who grew up in Arizona and really came of age in Phoenix, Arizona. The anti-immigrant movement is kind of like the ground zero for that. But we've also seen the way the anti-immigrant movement has moved all across the country. And so it's not just an Arizona thing, but being that I was raised in Arizona, I got involved. There were a lot of different things that were taking place in the community, from community raids to people crossing the desert. I went to college in Tucson, Arizona, and so I was able to witness a lot of humanitarian issues that were coming up at the border. And so seeing that firsthand, knowing the stories of my parents who were continuously, and my community members, my aunts and uncles who were being racially profiled, who were being stopped time and time again, or having different issues when they went to the doctor or interacted with other types of public agencies, I knew inherently that there were challenges.
Yes.
And more than that, I also had family members and close friends who were detained, who were in immigration detention while I was in Arizona. And so this was very near and dear to my heart. My best friend's mom was deported when we were in high school. And so I had to learn really quickly and at a young age that immigration also included me and included my family. And so
it does.
I think oftentimes, folks forget about us, right? Like, they don't think that Black folks are also impacted by immigration, but we are. And I think not only from a Black immigrant perspective, but from an African American perspective. I'm a person who, and my parents, right, we always talk about this, but if it weren't for African Americans being involved in the types of civil rights and Black liberation struggles that they were involved in, we could not be here. Like, we could not be here. And so we are indebted to the African American community for the tremendous groundwork that they laid. But more than that, what we're seeing with the different changing laws and the anti-immigrant sentiment that's affecting the national landscape and policy, what we're seeing is that the gains that were made from the civil rights movement are actually being undermined. So in a place like Arizona, and I'll explain it to you a little bit more. So in a place like Arizona, where we had SB 1070, which was basically a law that said, you gotta show me your papers, which is very draconian. We know how this unfolds in a place like South Africa or apartheid. This was the kind of environment and the kind of law that was being pushed forward and then exported to different parts of the country. So in the South, they had Georgia and Alabama and different other states that were taking on this law. So in Arizona specifically, though, we had SB 1070. But right after SB 1070 was passed and signed into law, there was also a ban on affirmative action. And this ban on affirmative action was something that folks had worked on, so the opposition had worked on for many, many years. But they weren't able to get that to pass until they were able to finally get immigration to be seen and as coded, as a racially coded, I should say, as a racially coded way of dealing with people of color, but by having it rationalized. And so SB 1070 was passed, there was a ban on affirmative action, which took years to finally undo, and then there was a ban on ethnic studies, which Black communities have fought so long and hard for, and African American communities, I should say specifically, fought long and hard for, and then because of the anti-immigrant sentiment, we saw that go away in southern Arizona. So I think it's really important to draw those connections about how it's such a slippery slope.
It definitely is, and you have to go down and take that really cautiously because you don't want to offend. And they are racially profiling things. I mean, asking for papers is just absurd. That brings it back to World War II when you had to show what your culture was with certain things. But we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting down here with Opal Tameti, definitely giving us some, I love it, great information about immigration. That's something we all could use because there are constant updates. And immigration law is so intricate because it's a constant change. There's always something that is updated, that's changed, but there's the DREAM Act. There's so many different things that affect recent immigration laws here. But let's talk a little bit about the BAJI organization, the committee, what's being done? Because there's several projects, so that's one of them.
Yes. So the way that we work is by locally working with volunteer members who are part of the organization. And so what we've called the work that we do at the local level is based around this organizing committee model. So we call them BAC, the BAJI Organizing Committee. And so at the local level, volunteers come together, identify issues that they are directly impacted by. So both Black immigrants from Africa, the Caribbean, Afro-Latinos, as well as African Americans are coming together to put together educational programs at the local level, as well as to participate in local campaigns. Some that they may initiate themselves or partner with other organizations. And so, for instance, in New York City, we have an organizing committee here that's anchored by our local organizer. And what they're working on, for example, is an educational film series. Every first Friday at our office in Crown Heights, we have what is known as the Freedom Film Series.
Okay.
And so we watch a film together and we have conversation and discussion. We invite the entire community to come to our space and learn more about the issues that impact their very lives. But oftentimes we're not given the time and opportunity to really have a deep conversation about that. And then we also invite people to join in our campaigns. So one of the things that we're working on right now with other local organizations, particularly that in the Haitian community, is a campaign that we're calling Reunite Haitian American Families.
Very good.
Yeah.
We have a large Haitian population, so you guys may want to actually listen in on this.
Yes. So not only are we working on this at the local level, but we're also working nationally. So at the local level, what we've done is partner with other organizations such as Haitian Women for Haitian Refugees to anchor this campaign. And basically what we're looking for and demanding is that President Obama use his executive powers to tell the Department of Homeland Security to create a program to expedite the visas that have already been approved for Haitian families. So right now,
Wow.
yeah, so right now there are 100,000 visas that are out there that have been pre-approved. 100,000 Haitians can be reunited with their family members. 16,000 of them are actually minors, so young people who could be reunited with a family member, a mom, dad, aunt, uncle.
This is great. So you guys are actually pushing. I want everyone at home to know this. You may be one of those 100,000 people who have helped a family member apply for the visa here.
That's right.
And they're trying to get Obama to actually just hurry up and expedite it. It's in process, sitting on a desk, just needs that final stamp, and they'll be able to come right in.
That's right. So what we're saying is, hey, we know for the past 4 years that folks have been languishing in Haiti.
Has it been that long that they've been trying to get a visa? Takes that long to approve, and that's something we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yes.
I want to know time frames when you do an application for visa and green cards and all that stuff. We'll get to it, but
Yeah.
it's been about 4 years that some people have not been approved yet.
So it's actually more than that. So let me explain it this way. So it's been 4 years that we've been pushing for this program to be expedited. So the Cuban community actually has what is known as the Cuban Family Reunification Pearl program. What we're asking is for, let's create that same type of program that's kind of created out of humanitarian crisis for the Haitian community as well. So there are 100,000 visas that have been already approved, but these visas have already, these are family visas.
Yes.
So people have petitioned, and folks are waiting for up to 12 years for these visas. So not the 4 years, like I think I kind of spoke too soon, but it's actually more looking like up to 12 years. And this is because of the visa backlog. And this is something that could easily be changed. And President Obama just has to say, hey, we're going to create a program. Let me tell Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson, create the program. This could be done like that.
I'm just so dumbfounded to hear 12 years that someone could have an application in this country and it's just pending. You're
That's
just
right.
almost lost in translation.
Well, it's awful. And I think what's more awful is that there are over 200,000 people who are still living in tents in Haiti. There's a cholera pandemic that was caused by outsiders coming into the nation.
Now
and
there's Ebola and different things going around too.
So, I mean, I think the situation is really, really tough. We see the cholera. We see not much in terms of substantive reconstruction of the country. And so what we're saying is, hey, bring these folks over, let them reunite with their family, let it be a legal migration, and let folks work. They're sending remittances back, and they're more invested in seeing their country, be put back together in a way that's led by them. And so that's what we're demanding. We're saying we need it. We need it now. Justice delayed is justice denied.
Oh, wow. I like that slogan, actually. What about the Black Immigration Network?
All right. So the Black Immigration Network is actually one of the key vehicles for actually doing this campaign that I just shared about. But the Black Immigration Network is actually a network that is nationwide. There are about 30 other Black-led organizations and programs all across the country that also believe that Black people need to be involved in the immigrant rights movement. And so not only that they should just be involved, but that immigrant rights is more broadly part of the racial justice struggle in the country, period. That African Americans and Black immigrants all have to be part of this discussion, and it needs to be a bit more complicated, and more than complicated, it needs to be inclusive. So the work and the imagery and the media and beyond really needs to be reflective of the diversity that is really what our nation is about and what this country really has. These are the people that are actually here. We are impacted as well. So why not have Black people be part of leadership and policy decisions too? So we need to have policy that's really reflective of our community and what's at stake. And oftentimes we're not at those tables. And so what we're saying is we have to organize ourselves. These organizations need to come together. We have to push our culture to understand what's going on, but we also have to pool our power and let champions like the Congressional Black Caucus and other folks know that we're here, and we need them to be voices for us in these spaces and help us negotiate for laws and policies that are really beneficial for all of us.
Now, we talked about a lot about Black Americans getting involved. What about those who actually feel that it doesn't affect them, that they're American, that they've been here? I don't know what it is to get a green card. I've never had to do those things. What do you have to say to that?
So I think for the African American community in particular, oftentimes I hear different things. So we work nationwide, so in different pockets we might hear different types of things. And so for instance, we work in the South. And in the South, I think what's really important, and oftentimes people forget, is that African Americans historically have been grounded and really rooted in the South due to the enslavement of Africans, right? But what had happened was that once those who were enslaved were freed, they actually began to migrate, right? There was internal migration within the country. And so folks were leaving the South because although the law of slavery was over, there were still other types of laws and policies and practices that were impacting the community.
Hold that thought. Okay. We are going to pick up that in just a second. Hot debate going on here on Beyond Focus TV because Opal Tometi is definitely giving us some great information. Keep it right here. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
My name is Stephanie Miles, and I am Miss Caribbean United States 2013, and you're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, here with Opal Tometi. Opal, we left off with a great point. You were talking about some of the, after slavery was abolished and some of the immigrants, the slaves rather, displaced. They went throughout the country.
Yeah, so what happened was actually in the South, there were different laws and practices that were unfolding. And so what happened with that is that Jim Crow, which is what they were called as, right, was impacting countless African Americans in the southern region. And so people decided, due to instances of violence, lack of job opportunities, to leave the South, leave family members, and migrate to the north. to the Midwest, and sometimes the West. And so I think this is really important in terms of looking at pockets where there are large African American populations, because this was also part of their history. And when we look at that history, we also hear echoes of why many people migrate today. A lot of times people leave their countries in this day and age, right, because of different economic hardships. People are leaving more as economic refugees, not so much as, oh, we just want to move across country and learn a different language, or across the globe, I should say,
Absolutely.
and learn a different language and all of that. It's not easy.
It's still the fundamentals. It's still, they're looking for better work. They're looking for better opportunities for their children, better education.
That's right.
So what it was 200 years ago, it's still almost the same
and
roots
violence.
now.
Yeah, a lot of folks are also leaving for reasons of violence. They're
Yes.
fleeing violence, and we're talking and we're seeing folks leave Central America for a number of different reasons. But we have to take account for folks who are actually being forced to migrate, and so we think that this is really important for us to recognize, and also see how our history, in some ways, is modified and mutating and repeating itself once again. We've got to learn from our history. I think it's really important, and the African American community can really teach us a lot about that history, but also the resistance, the power of organizing your community, knowing your rights, getting involved, sharing your story, sharing about your experience, and really developing the power and the clout to win, and to win justice for your family, for your community. We all deserve it, and so that's what we're
Absolutely.
about.
Let's talk about some of the events that you have and different programs.
Yeah, so some of the different programs that we have, I think, and I want to focus on some of the local work that we're doing. We're involved with a campaign called ICE Free NYC. And so ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, I think most of our viewers might know, is the way in which many of our community members are finding themselves caught up in immigration detention and deportation proceedings. Many folks don't really realize the way in which Black immigrants are actually impacted really acutely, especially in a place like New York City. The current data isn't out yet, but Haitians, Dominicans, Jamaicans have some of the highest detention and deportation rates of any community in New York. And so we really have to have more knowledge about how to protect ourselves, protect our families, know our rights, and know how to navigate that system. And a lot of times the way that we're caught up in that immigration system and in the detention and deportation system is through interaction with the criminal justice system. And so one of the ways that this is happening is through, we know about stop and frisk, we know about, some people know about this fingerprinting system called secure communities.
Yes.
When you're stopped, when you're taken into custody, people get fingerprinted. Everybody gets fingerprinted. And then your fingerprints are then taken and shared with ICE and shared with the FBI. And that's the way that they start to track people and their immigration status and records and things like that.
Are they allowed to do that?
They are, unfortunately. This is a program that's running all across the nation, actually. And so
Even here in New York, this is going on.
even in all the precincts here in New York, this is happening. This is happening all across. And we've been part of some work to stop that. And so specifically what we're saying now is that we actually need to stop the hold. So what's called a hold, or known as a detainer, an immigration detainer, when you're at the jail, ICE is able to say that we want to place a hold on this person. And that, in essence, triggers the detention and deportation proceedings, or what could be the detention and deportation. And what we're saying is, actually, local law enforcement and the jails don't have to do this. This is actually an optional program. And so we're saying, let's make our community safe. Let's keep our families together. And let's stop that practice of holding. And beyond just the jails, we actually don't want immigration and the customs enforcement interacting with us at the schools. We don't want them interacting with us at the hospital. It should not be anything that we have to worry about when we're in everyday situations. And so we're saying, you know what? No more ICE, no more interaction in the public agencies.
I agree.
Enough is enough. Stay out of it.
Absolutely. Before we run out of time, please let everybody know how they can get in contact with you guys?
So to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and visit our website, www.blackalliance.org, or you can call our office if you are in need of resources or referrals. We are not a direct services agency, but we are happy to refer folks for services. And you can call us at 347-410-5312.
Okay, great. Is there a Facebook page or anything like that?
Yeah, and so we're online. We encourage people to interact with us on Facebook. So facebook.com/BAJI page, and that's BAJI page. And we also want to encourage people to sign our petition. People can get involved with this Haiti campaign at the local level. They can also get involved with a range of our other types of work. But go to our other website, theblackimmigration.net, and you can see our petition online, and you can sign that petition and make your voice known and know that you are supporting a community in the Haitian community. If you're Haitian and you're out there and want to get involved and share your story about how you're trying to bring one of your family members over, we encourage you to join the campaign.
Absolutely, and it's just a lot of work that's being done. There's so much material that we've been covering here. What's 2015 looking like for you guys?
Ooh, 2015. Well, what we are actually hoping for is that there will be some sort of executive action by President Obama. So for the past year or so, folks have been waiting for President Obama to issue his own proclamation and action on immigration, because last year was a stalemate. Congress didn't make any action, and so we're now looking for President Obama to take action. And so we want him to take action on the Haiti family reunification visas, but we also want him to stop the deportations. We want him to expand deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA, for all immigrants. We think that any undocumented immigrant should also have legalization. And there are 11 million undocumented immigrants, and there are 500,000 undocumented Black immigrants. And so oftentimes people forget that, but there are a lot of us who are undocumented in the community. And so
it gets to be a lot.
So we're looking forward to having President Obama issue this announcement, and then we're going to work on it. We're going to work on encouraging our community members to get involved with whatever program of legalization, and then we're going to continue to fight until there's no more deportations.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Opal, thank you so much for joining us here on Beyond Focus TV. Again, if you want to get involved, that was Opal Tameti, who's the Executive Director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.